Good morning and welcome back to Near Post Flick On. Tottenham Hotspur through to the semi-finals of the Europa League, and my words, did they have to dig deep? What a gutsy performance from Tottenham yesterday. Um, I mean, Anne said it himself. He always wins things in his second season, and he may prove that. He may prove that, but there are still some good teams still left in the competition. You've got Athletic Club that are still in it, and you've got Man United that's still in it, and they seem to be turning the corner because they had a great result yesterday as well. But Spurs are through to the semi-finals. They take on Bolo Glint, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But it was a gutsy performance from Tottenham, and I tell you what, Tottenham fans will be delighted because, it's been a horrible week for Spurs fans, having lost 4-2 to Wolves. The manager is severely under pressure because, Daniel Levy can sack him at any moment. He's done it before. He can do it again. So you can imagine the type of pressure that the manager will be feeling. So to get that result, I'm sure would have alleviated some pressure, a little bit, not all, but some pressure off his shoulders yesterday night. But what was impressive was it was good to see a very, very strong Tottenham side. And, this is how they played, I'd say, maybe at the start of last year. They looked like they knew what they were doing. They had a full back there, what I believe is their strongest back four. They had Udogi, Van der Ven, Romero, and Porro all playing, and they looked pretty fit. And I tell you what else I liked as well was the fact that Romero was captain. I love Sonny, and I think he's excellent at what he does, but I don't really see leadership from Sonny. So it's always good, and there's nothing like having a centre back as captain. So I think it was good to see Romero as Tottenham captain and leading the side out yesterday. Spurs were, they all they needed to do was really just try and hold on, and they did. They did that very, very well. So Spurs are through to the finals, and they've got every chance of winning this competition. I mean, they haven't won anything since 2008. So breaking that 17-year trophy drought will be amazing for Spurs. And it's quite ironic that, the North London clubs, have had back-to-back victories and are now both in semi-finals of major European competitions. I mean, obviously one supersedes the other, but irrespective of that, it's still a European semi-final placing, and I think Spurs will be so happy because I think the whole season is riding on this competition. And again, I think what Ange did yesterday that stood out as well was that rather than going gung ho after Spurs got that penalty, rather than going gung ho, for the first time he actually made some adjustments. He actually made some. I thought to myself, about what's going on here. So when he took off, who did he take off? I think he took off. I think he took off Brennan Johnson, and then he brought on Danso. And I thought, hang about. Oh, he's making a defensive change. That's not like Ange. So I'm glad that he's actually listening and he's not being arrogant and saying, my way or the highway, and actually doing something that can protect a lead. So that was good to see the fact that Tottenham were able to kind of balance, and it worked. It worked well. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Frankfurt second half, it was almost like the reverse of the first leg, where Tottenham were just hammering them in the second half. They did exactly the same thing, and they came with everything. That Ekitike, I think he is a good player, and I'd like to see him in the Premier League at some point because, he is a very dangerous player. But Frankfurt, they came at Tottenham in the second half and they hammered and they tried and they ploughed away, but to no avail. So you have to give credit to the way Tottenham kind of held on and showed some resistance, because if that was if you base that on how Tottenham have performed the season, you will always get goals in Tottenham games. So the fact that Tottenham were able to preserve a one-goal lead and defend for their lives, it shows that they do have that in their locker. So you kind of question and say, well, why haven't you done that all season? Why are you getting battered by Wolves 4-2? Why are you losing silly games? Why have you conceded so many goals? And it goes back to game management. It goes back to, I'm sorry, but the buck has to stop with Ange. I mean, you can say, well, players need to play for the badge and all of these other things, but at the end of the day, the manager also has to make the correct decisions, and he's got to make the changes that will reflect any type of situation that the game requires. So if you're winning 1-0 or 2-0, then you make the substitutions, you make the changes, you change your strategy, you strategize to kind of make sure you get over the line. And I was pleased when he made those changes, when he went defensive and he made those changes, because it worked. And it does work. You've got to tinker. You can't just say, oh yeah, we're going to go out there, we're going to score, you score 5, we score 6 sort of thing. So it was good to see him make those changes, and it's benefited Spurs. I mean, yeah, it's a great performance. Great performance from Tottenham. Okay, yeah, maybe they could have scored more or they could have played more, but I think the most important thing was getting over the line, and they've done it. Spurs through to a European club competition for the second time in I think six years. Mind you, remember Tottenham got to the finals of the Champions League in 2019, so they're on the cusp of getting to another final in in 2025. So these are things that you'd never have expected from Tottenham. In 6 years, that's amazing. Forget about the league. Forget about the league form and how rubbish Spurs have been in the league. That can all become a distant memory if they go on to win the competition. And as I said, Ange has always said, I always win things in my second term, in my second season. So I will just pray and hope that Daniel Levy does not sack him like he did Jose Mourinho. Let this man do what he's got to do, at least up until after the cup final, if Tottenham do get there. So Tottenham have got Bodo Glint, and I think they can get over that. They can do it. Well, it's football, and anything can happen. But yeah, congratulations to Spurs. I'm sure all the Spurs fans will be delighted. So it's giving Tottenham fans something to cheer about for now anyway, because I know come the weekend, probably end up getting battered again. But it is Tottenham, and that's the trials and tribulations of being a Tottenham supporter, I guess. So it comes with the territory. But for now, congratulations to Tottenham. Did very well. As I say, Romero as captain makes sense. Just let him be the captain permanently. Forget Sonny being captain. Let Romero be captain. I think I saw a podcast one time, and he asked Jed Spence, who are the leaders in Tottenham, and he was dumbfounded. He couldn't say anything. But I think Romero put in a captain's performance yesterday. Bentancur, fantastic. Bergval, brilliant in midfield. Mattis Tell, he looked very good, very bright spark, did very well. And yeah, Dominic Solanke, I'm glad he took the penalty. I'm glad he took the penalty, and he, very, very cool, calm, and collective customer. Brilliantly dispatched penalty. And yeah, hopefully Tottenham can build on this. As I say, you just got to forget about the league for now. Hopefully Tottenham can build on this, and they can kind of, get over the line and get to the final. And I'm sure if they get to the final, they'll have every chance of winning, because the remaining teams in that competition are definitely beatable. They are definitely beatable, because Tottenham can beat Man United on a good day. Tottenham can definitely beat Athletic Club on a good day, and they should be able to beat the other team that they've got in the next round. So yeah, well done Tottenham Hotspur. The Spurs go marching on, and we'll see how that goes when it comes. Oh yeah, and by the way, yes, please, it's a new channel, so please do subscribe, do like, do share, do subscribe. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.